Ladies and gentlemen, it's that time again.
It's time for the J. Craig 5, maybe 10-minute movie review. Good morning, and welcome to Movies Over Coffee. I'm Jay of the J. Craig Podcast. If you haven't done so already, click on the subscribe button, like, and follow us. Last night I saw Incredibles 2. Now, this is a movie that's 14 years in the making, and usually for me that means, that's a good idea. Are they going to be able to regain the magic and get the chemistry back after this much time? And, well, dealing with animation, it's a little easier to do that than it is in live action because of the age aspect, the growing aspect of the children, too. So I wasn't very excited about this until I discovered that Brad Bird was coming back to write and direct it. Now, Brad Bird did the first Incredibles. He also did Iron Giant, which is an amazing movie. And then he also did Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol and then Tomorrowland, which were his two live-action movies. I think that's all he's done there. Let's forget about Tomorrowland. But everything else he's done has been fantastic. So having him involved with the writing and directing of Incredibles 2, well, I mean, that's a good idea. And I think that's the only way you do this movie. And so if I would have known that a little earlier, I would have had less apprehension going into this movie because you know that's going to be in good hands. Now, sometimes not having expectations is a blessing because we can't go anywhere but up in most cases. So Incredibles 2 is, well, it's incredible. I know that's kind of lame, but it is an incredible movie. It's a fantastic movie. It's a much bigger movie than the first one. And the first Incredible movie is more about being true to who you are. And, you know, it could be a metaphor for a lot of different things in life, but it's about being true to who you are. And it's a much more personal story. It's a much more contained story. This movie, the second movie, as all sequels should, takes it and makes it bigger, expands upon it, and just it makes it grow much more than the first movie was able to. And everyone has a bigger part in this movie. This movie does take it to the next step and makes it bigger plot, bigger stakes, and just more going on. Now, what is it about? Now, The Incredibles 2 picks up exactly where the first one left off. If you remember the end of the first movie, the Underminer attacks the city, and our heroes that are now a fully formed family of superheroes put their masks on, they smile, and they're excited, and they're ready to jump to action. Okay, the movie stops. This movie takes place right at that moment, and superheroes are illegal. So they get in trouble for helping out the city and causing damage because that's what happens in these kind of things. And while they are illegal, there's a faction of people, a group of people who want to regain the legality of superheroes. There are some that believe superheroes that make us weak and they're causing too much damage and they're too destructive, a la Mr. Incredible. And then there's that other group that believes that they're there to help us and why shun them and make them feel that they're that they can't provide help and they just have to live a normal life when they are in fact super. So there's just this dichotomy of what's right and what's wrong. If the first movie is about being true to who you are, this movie is about trust. They use Elastigirl as their poster child, whatever you want to call it, to regain the superhero credibility. So she takes center stage in this movie, which is also a very smart move. Mr. Incredibles was his movie, the first movie. This movie is Elastigirl's, and I thought that was a fantastic approach. I didn't realize she was going to be the center stage of this movie for the most part, but that in itself is a good part of the movie. Is that they are trusting her to regain superhero legality, and she is trusting Mr. Incredible to take care of the family. So Mr. Incredible has to become Mr. Mom. And I'm telling you, some of the most hilarious stuff I've seen this year is in these scenes. Now, if I wanted to nitpick and find something that I really disliked about the movie or something that might have hurt the movie, it's the fact that it doesn't have a very solid villain. Now, in the first movie, it's only natural to compare this movie to the first movie because it's obviously a direct sequel. In the first movie, you have Jason Lee's Syndicate, I believe his name is. Very solid villain. He has reason, conviction, and purpose, and drive. He was shunned by Mr. Incredible at an early age, so it made him who he is today. And I think that was a very solid choice and a great villain. This movie doesn't have that. Now, it doesn't hurt it because the villains are essentially the superheroes in a way because it's about trusting superheroes to either take care of the city or destroy it and cause casualties while they're trying to save it. So essentially, the superheroes themselves are their own villains, so that it still works without having the main villain be, someone like Jason Lee's character from their first movie. It still works, but if I'm going to nitpick, that's what I'm going to nitpick. Now, the idea of a sequel is always to make it bigger and better. And I said earlier that this movie does have bigger stakes. It has a bigger plot and there's more going on. It's not just about the one Mr. Incredible's adventures and then the family coming and rescuing him. This is about a much bigger story going on. Now, Frozone, like I mentioned, has a much bigger part, and it's a welcome addition having him in it more of the movie than he was the first time. The kids are in the movie a lot more. And in fact, Violet has very good stuff in this movie. And in fact, she's one of my favorite parts of the movie. I would say Dash has the least going on in this movie, taking backseat to Violet, which I'm okay with. I thought Violet was fantastic as a as a teenager who is being comfortable now and getting more confidence because of her superpowered abilities and trying to date and having boy problems. There's some really good stuff there. But the genius of this movie comes from Jack and Mr. Incredible being Mr. Mom. That is some of the genius of this movie. There are moments in this movie where we see the exhaustion of the father figure trying to take care of a family that he thinks is easy to do because, well, the wife's doing it, and so this must be easy because I'm Mr. Incredible. So there's some genius at play here, and I was literally crying at one particular scene. And Jack having all these new powers is something to behold throughout the movie, and it's fantastic. It's really, really, it's incredible. Sorry, I had to do it again. Now, overall, I really, really enjoyed this movie, and I think everyone's going to really, really love it. I don't see why you can hate it. I mean, you can nitpick it like the villain aspect there, but it's a fantastic movie. Having Brad Bird come back was a fantastic idea, and I'm sure that was one of the reasons why they made this movie is having him attached to it. I can't wait to take the kids. I think the kids are going to love it. It's a great family film, lots of humor, great story, and again, a good message about trust. So go see it. Let me know what you think about it. Thank you for watching this edition of Movies Over Coffee. I'm Jay at the J. Craig. Don't forget to follow, like, and subscribe here at the J. Craig, and we will see you next time.